Okay. And I'm talking,
Okay.
you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you okay.
Wonderful news.
This is thrilling. This is Bands on Banding. Welcome to Bands on Banding. I'm Zach K, and today I'm joined by two wonderful people from wonderful bands. We have Seth from Buddy Wincoop and Colin from Russian Blue. How's it going, friends?
Hey, hello. My name's Seth. I'm from Buddy Wincoop. This is what my voice sounds like.
This is Colin from Russian Blue.
Colin,
This
are
is
you
what my
doing a
voice
weird
sounds
radio
like.
voice?
No, it's just for the intro. Just for the beginning.
Okay. How's it going? How is everybody today?
Ugh.
Colin got me stressed. I'm doing great, but I was doing great. And then Colin stresses me out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like watching Colin set up this camera and fiddle with it is like the experience of watching Colin on stage walking around and fiddling with his bandmates synths in the middle of a song. Where he's like singing and leaning over. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never seen that.
I hope it's not quite that anxiety inducing. Setting this camera up, I was my Mount Everest. That was insane. But it's good to go now. So
Look at us now. We're here.
Look at us now. And
happy to be
congratulations
here.
for climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah, thanks.
So tell me about Colin. You just released a single. Your band just released a single.
Well, yeah, just tell you about it.
No, just how's it been? You played a show.
It's been really good. The single release at the Spanish Ballroom was crazy. It was wonderful. We had a really good time. And we played with our good friends Hot Stepmom, that they also released a single a day after ours. Yeah, it was really, really good. I love that place. That was, I think, our 5th time playing there, but this is the first time we actually had like good crowd. Because I think the last time we played there was 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, it was good. And people seem to be liking the single. I know a lot of my friends, this was the one they were really excited to hear. So I'm glad it's finally out in the world.
How many people do you think have heard this album?
Too many for it being unreleased. I mean, it's been sitting unreleased for, I mean, in various forms, but in this form, like a year. And in its previous form with a couple track adjustments, like an additional year and a half. So yeah, like every friend in every band and every family member and a great many other random people.
Seth, have you heard it?
I have heard it. Rips. What do you mean by many forms? Are you talking about like track listing or like
Track listing,
re-recording?
mix. Yeah. Like I think half the record had like demo vocals on it for the first year. And then they were all redone with a different mic. I ended up scrapping everything and actually doing it with this one because I like tried to use some fancy U87 and I was like, this sounds better, but it didn't. So I just used an RE20 and it sounded significantly more immediate and emotional to me, at least. But yeah, that's what I mean by many forms. All sorts of stuff changed.
I've never worked on a project over that long of a period.
Yeah, it hits different for sure.
Have you Seth, you guys put out an album this year. Was it a drawn out process like that as well?
I mean, it probably took us I almost said an hour, a year to make everything. We would go in spurts and create songs and then write them for it and do it. But yeah, it took a year. And we would a couple of the songs, we just stylize them completely, and they're completely different than what they originally were. It is kind of grueling, but yeah. Wait, how long is Colin? How long has it been? It's been longer than a year.
Well, to actually make it from when we started making it to when it was done, was like 3 years, or I guess to release was 3 years. But actual time spent on it was probably like 9 weeks, I would say.
Okay.
But it's just huge breaks and things just like sitting in limbo.
Yep.
Yeah, none of the songs on the album took more than like 2 hours to write.
That's wild.
Yeah, they were all like really, I'm a big fan of writing something start to finish in one session and just like seeing it to the end, which is why a lot of the songs sound like I lose focus or something. Like they just like take really right turns. And I'm like, well, that's the song now.
That's
Why
impressive.
edit anything ever?
It's impressive.
Well, I will say I have been slowing down exponentially. But, you know, when I was like 20, it was a lot easier to do that.
That's the Elton John. That's his thing. He said he knows he had a hit. All of his big hits he wrote in one session, couple hours. Like that's how he
Really?
knew. It was like, oh, that's gonna be a good song. That took me 2 hours to make. And all of
Oh, I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you said he wrote every single
no,
one
no, no.
in 2 hours
Only the
in one
ones that are
session.
hits.
But I get it now. Every time he wrote a song that became a hit, it only took him that long.
Yeah.
It wasn't every single one he ever did in one day.
No.
1 2-hour session,
Yeah.
just
Even the
like
ones released 5 years
like
later.
hundreds of songs.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. That'd be flipping crazy.
That would be literally unbelievable.
I believe it.
Yeah, I guess when I write songs, I've always been a big editor, more of lyrics than music, I guess. But it sounds like you do a lot of editing also, Seth. Is that the case?
Yeah, everything has, I mean, personally, how we go about it, I will write something. Nothing ever comes out fast or in one session. I just bash my head against the wall until it gets to the end, which takes the longest. Getting it to the end is the hardest part. Typically I'll write a demo and I can write a minute of a song and it like starts in the very middle. I'll play away and it's just the very middle of a song. And it's 1 minute. And then to get to how to start it and to get to how to end it is the hardest part for me. And then afterwards I do lyrics for stuff. And that's another fun piece of the puzzle, which takes a lot of revisions. I guess, yeah, to answer the question, lots of revisions for every part.
Every single
Every
part, but it
step of
starts
the
in the
way.
middle, and that's interesting to me. Like that, you think about it more chronologically, because one of the things I think about with Buddy Wincoop songs is that they always have such strong hooks, and we'll hear that in the song we listen to later, GSMT. So I guess what I'm curious is, when you're starting in the middle, is it because you have a hook in mind, or does that kind of come later?
Typically with lyrically, what comes out is I think it's going to be a good verse, but then it's just a chorus. And then I'm like, well, dang, now I have to write a verse. Ugh. And that's, yeah. So, yeah, exactly. You don't even.
Colin, you look like you're having thoughts over there.
I'm just listening so good right now. I love everything you're saying. Keep it up. No, I just agree. I mean, feel like about what Zach is saying with your stuff. It's very surprising to hear that hooks wouldn't have come first.
Oh, yeah.
Because
No.
that's always the thing with every single one of the tracks on your record that is so immediately enthralling is how you start. So yeah, that's just interesting. I can't imagine starting a song from the middle. I've never done that in my entire life. I don't know how to do that.
You start at the very beginning.
Yeah, well, I mean, my thought is like, if I do something that I find is interesting, then I'm like, well, that's how the song starts. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like what hooked me. I feel like, well, the best chance I have of it resonating in the way I want it to feel is like, if it interested me, if it hooked me, it's probably going to hook at least one other person, right?
Yeah.
But that's an oversimplified view of songwriting, which
You just sit down, you
is,
say, I'm going to do this, and that's it.
I'm just a big fan of committing like to things from the get-go. Is like, I'm going to do this one thing from start to finish, and I'm not going to change anything or second guess anything until it's done. And then I'm going to not listen to it for 2
Like
weeks.
path of least resistance just to get it done, because you can always change.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think, well, now that I'm like talking about it, I think about it, I think I just want to get to where the meat and the potatoes are of the song. And is that, do I like the meat and potatoes? Because an intro to me is like, oh, you can make an intro, but the meat and the potatoes, I want that to be exciting for me to like play or to listen to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I guess I focus my energy. And then I'm like, okay, we can write a beginning and end.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you do great work.
I'll send a bunch of demos to the guys, and they were like, you can't be by yourself all the time when you're doing this, because when you come to us, there's just like, how many tracks do you have in here? Why are there so many vocal layers? Why are there so many guitars? I'm like, because of the meat and potatoes. We can take it out, but that's like the gist, you know?
Yeah.
That's funny. I saw a quote from someone, and it was a producer, and I'm forgetting who exactly, so I'll have to look it up later and feel dumb. It was about this philosophy of being in the studio and just recording every idea. And he would just always say, that's why God invented the mute button. Because if you don't like the idea, you can always just click mute and it doesn't make it into the final mix, but you can just record everything.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
cannot tell you how many times we do that. Or at least from a studio perspective, how many times someone's like, I'm going to try this thing. Everyone in the band looks at me like, help. And I'm like, don't worry, you won't hear it. You won't hear what they're doing. And oftentimes those ideas do come around, but like, I mean, we've got some in our bands that are just like, the band's cooking, we're doing something, and then someone's in the corner just like, and it's impossible to concentrate. That's why we do all of our sessions with those like little headphone mixer things now, so we can just mute person A
Yeah.
entirely. I mean, we tell them. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
That's a
like,
good
I'm not
luxury.
going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen. We'll listen later.
We had one. There was a brief period where we had a member who had a really good studio setup, and we would practice for shows instead of live in our practice spot. We would practice with those kind of like headphones, everybody playing, and then there was like an E kit, and felt so good because you could hear everybody clearly. The synth wasn't too loud, bass was too loud, guitars weren't battling each other. That's a luxury, and I'm jealous that I don't.
I mean, it's definitely, I will say it is very useful, but as the person who sets it all up every time, it has its drawbacks. Like practice starts at 3, I'm there at 10. You know what I mean?
3:30.
Yeah. 3.
Setting things up.
But yeah, I've really liked rehearsing on stage. That's my favorite. And I've been blessed enough to work at a couple venues where we can go in on a dark day and just run the set on stage with monitors and everything. I think it's helped us a lot with like sound checking, like figuring out what do we actually need in the space.
Yeah.
But practicing in the studio is fun too. I totally agree with you.
I've never had the luxury of rehearsing on a stage just for fun, unrelated to a specific show.
Well, usually they're related to like, oh, we're playing this stage in 2 weeks. Let's see if we can get in there. You
I
know,
see.
it's easier
I
than
see.
you might think. A lot of places are like, who do you know? And I'm like, Jerry. And they're like, cool. Come on, hang out with Jerry. And then you do it.
Problem is, I don't know anyone named Jerry.
Well, fill in the blank, Zach. It could be Stefan. It could be Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Could be.
Could be anybody.
So, Seth, you when presented the question, if you had to describe your current era as a band in a few words, you said, and I see you're laughing already because you remember what you wrote, presumably, but you said, nerdy kid takes off glasses trope. And I need to hear more about that. What does that mean?
Can you repeat the question? It's how would you the era.
Yeah, it's if you had to describe your current era as a band in a few words,
Okay.
what would it be?
Yeah, I think I still stick by that.
As a follow-up, do you know that you're wearing glasses right now?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe next album I won't.
Anyway, so no, sorry, please.
I think just in the era of finding ourselves personally as a band and getting our own, we had a couple EPs and the album we just put out. It's a lot like finding yourself in how we feel like we're being perceived and how we actually feel. And I feel like the next stage is coming into our own and being, uniquely us without finding ourselves, I guess. Because, once you take the glasses off, like, oh, look, they're normal.
Sure, you get to
Walking
like the
down the
glow up
stairs, prom
montage.
kind of thing, trope.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very funny because I think as a culture we've swung the other way, and now public opinion is that glasses are hot. And I agree. But I feel like so many movies in the 80s were like, glasses are the worst thing you could ever have. You're the biggest nerd ever. And I just don't think that's how we view them anymore.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? I mean,
I
could be crazy.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
That was the era of the trope. It's coming into our own, being confident and who we are.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you mentioned something in that about how you perceived yourselves and then how you are perceived as a band. Tell me more about your thoughts around that and how that's evolved.
How we perceive ourselves, I could tell you, is that we don't, we are very self critical, all of us, in either to, a fault where it helps push us to be, try to be unique. It helps push us to write, but we've, as a group, and even as myself, we very rarely give ourselves like a pat on the back, just even like for like completing the record. It was like, man, I hope that people think it sounds better than we do, kind of thing, which I don't know what that is about. But yeah, we're very hard on ourselves. I mean, we're obviously like what we do because we still do it and everything. But I think as like individual musicians or artists, we are very tough on ourselves. And how we are perceived is because we are so tough on ourselves, we have no idea. We don't even think about that kind of stuff. And if it's like reviews, we're very happy when people come out. If like people talk to us, if you talk to anybody in the band, you will be like, this person isn't a highly socialized individual. Why are they so insecure or something? So yes, it is very, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. Yeah, hard on ourselves. We don't perceive ourselves. There's no, what do you call it? Ego or anything to our music or how we are perceived and how we take on ourselves. So that is kind of what I mean by that.
Sure, in a way that you're balancing the like self-criticism with the public response being like, oh, people actually like this a lot.
Yeah, very Labrador, please like me energy. Golden Retriever. I go in and I'm like, hey guys, how's everybody doing? Like, and it was like, why is this?
Golden Retriever takes off glasses.
Yes, that's the new.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are like interestingly contrasting energies of like coming into your own and yes, we're taking the glasses off, but also Labrador, please like me at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you. I can't relate to anything more than that. That's
very
I
conflicting.
100% get you.
totally. Yeah, and even this last EP we recorded, which is it's starting to come out now. I like couldn't listen to it for like 2 or 3 months in between the mixes are done and it's starting to release period. I was just so sick of these songs and I was like, this is not good. It's not as good as our first one, which was the first thing we really released and people liked it. And I was like, okay, well, there's no way we're ever doing anything ever again that anyone's going to like. So this one's going to be bad. But now the songs are starting to come out and I'm like, okay, yeah, actually these were pretty good.
Yep.
That's fine. These were pretty good.
You feel a little unstable, a little like mentally unstable, and you listen to it too much. If you listen to any song, as much songs you listen to when writing, recording, mixing, mastering, you would not like that song no matter who made it. And I have to remind myself. That's why I force even Colin was saying, you got to take a couple weeks off and then listen to it.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. I mean, I remember, Zach, you telling me about that, and I was like, why? I love the EP. But I get it. I get it. I'm just such an all-encompassed combo box fan that I can't register it, but I do understand what you're saying.
That's flattering. But you already said the same thing about your own music, so.
I know exactly. I relate to it, but Also, I think that the new EP is better. I think you did better. I think that's good. I think you did better.
Thank you. That's certainly all we can hope to do.
I think the songs are just as good on both. I just think that the process was better and the production's better, and you guys, I think that through better communication, it turned into something even more focused.
This is very Obama giving Obama medal energy as the person who produced the EP.
No, I mean
production is
working
better.
with you. Well, I think that that's owed to you, though. I think that's because you guys learned how to communicate and how to use the studio as a tool, like the specific studio as a tool. And you were very, very, very clear with me about what you wanted, and that was really helpful. So I'm not taking that credit. I'm just saying.
Well, I think you deserve some of that, at least some of that credit.
The snare
But we're
drum.
not here to talk about Combo Box today.
You're right. I'm sorry. I just love you guys.
Thank you. So, Nerdy Kid Takes Off Glasses, Buddy Wincoop. Let's listen to GSMT off of your debut album.
Yes.
And you mentioned that this was written as a love song, which to me is really interesting because I feel like you don't get a whole lot of love songs in the genre that we inhabit. So I'm curious, how did that come about?
I wrote it as a love song for my partner, and it came about. I don't know. I think, I challenged myself. It's hard for me to write slow songs, but we'll talk about that later. But I wanted to write a love song because it's never really something I've ever done before lyrically and thematically. And this was kind of a process of the music was created by our Eric, the guitarist. And it was one of the things that he spent a lot of time on, gave me this piece of music, and then he's like, "You can write lyrics to this." And I was like, "That is the one I will write my love song to."
Let's listen to it in its entirety. What is that face, Colin?
I'm excited.
Okay.
I
Here's
just
the
liked
song.
how you liked how you said it.
Great. GSMT, Buddy Wincoop, off of Better Than Botox.
This is good in headphones. I love this song. I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing this song on synth every other day.
Great song.
Too long of an intro.
Lipstick lambent eyes, an electric butterfly, porcelain canvas, effortless glide, an eclectic paradigm, a lipstick of dynamite, and I on two's wide-eyed, an unsuspected delight. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, and I a modern age. An unrelenting vibrance that can't be denied. Heart-throbbing,
This is crazy. I didn't know it was a love song, and now I hear it.
Throbbing, my palms balmy. I start stuttering before I start talking. A ballet of elegance and illuminated presence. And I obtuse wide-eyed and unsuspected delight. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, you die a modern age. Cosmic display of elegance displayed in a way it's never been. Cosmic display of elegance displayed in a way it's never been. Cosmic display of elegance displayed in a way it's never been. Break my brain, make it make sense. Break my brain, make it make sense. Break my brain, make it make sense. Break my brain, make it make. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, modern taste. Graceful shade, you die a modern age.
Cool. Great song.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is like
Rocks.
I was even thinking about this earlier when I was saying how strong all of the hooks in your songs are. They're just so sing-alongable, and you see that at your shows. Certainly, the ones I've seen in Portland, people know these words, and the chorus comes in this song, and everyone is yelling along. Graceful shape, modern taste, and that's true of a lot of your songs. Is that how you started the lyric of this? Did you start not at the beginning?
I knew that I wanted to call the song Graceful Shape, Modern Taste, and that I felt like that was going to be the chorus. How it was delivered, I didn't know, but I was writing lyrics simultaneously while Eric was working on the song that I didn't know about. So yeah, the chorus I knew was going to be that.
It's a great chorus.
So good. That was my first favorite on the record for a long time. But now it's become Racing. I don't know what it was, but something about that song through tour charmed me. And now I love it more.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's just great. I shouldn't say I don't know. It's because it's great. It's
Thanks.
because it's fantastic. But yeah, I love it. It was my
Is
most
there-
listened to album of the year, by the way.
Wow, look at that.
Really?
I got my Apple Music replay.
I
was
think
like,
I think this was my third most listened album of the year. So I'm,
you were
I'm not
close.
as big of a fan. Yeah, I know. I'm second place in this chat.
what was your first most?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? It came out like
No.
today.
I know. Do you remember every single stat on your rap?
I do. There's not very many on Apple Music. It's a very small selection of, yeah. Can you guess my most listened to artist? It's very obvious.
Is it Bleachers?
Nah, they weren't on it this year. It's LCD.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually, it's really funny. Most of it was just one song, and it was for sound checking speaker systems because
That's
I
pretty
know the
funny.
bass drop really well, so I use it to test like subs.
What song is it?
It's "How Do You Sleep" off of American Dream.
Hmm.
It's very good.
I can't think of it.
And it's got a really interesting bass drop because most of the bass is at 20 hertz, which is way lower than most like fundamental of like a synth sub drop would be, unless you're listening to like Skrillex.
Interesting.
It's a very useful tool.
You lost me at Hertz. I don't understand that kind of stuff. Sounds really low, to be honest.
It's so like for instance, a kick drum, the main sub of a kick drum generally rests between like 50 and 60 hertz. So below that sub, even deeper than that.
My understanding is that human hearing essentially goes down to 20 hertz, right? It's like 20
Exactly.
to 20K. So it's at essentially the bottom edge of what a human can hear.
And like the top edge of like the most extreme bass frequency you can, at least to me, that you feel in your chest. So when you're checking things for like are the walls going to rattle, for instance, it's a good frequency for that. Because if you have everything rattling at 20 hertz, something is going to fall.
Screws gonna come undone.
Yeah, it's the screws we're worried about.
Yep.
When we're checking it.
Every single time.
How are the screws?
Screws. Tighten
Are they
screws.
holding?
We're going to 20 hertz. Tighten the screws.
I wonder, actually, I wonder if those types of artists actually have to like get older venues cleared, like for those frequencies, like old theaters and stuff. I wonder if there's some that are like, we cannot have this frequency this loud, like in Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the Coliseum, the dubstep
In the Coliseum.
I think they
Not gonna
actually
work.
probably didn't use screws for the Coliseum, so that would probably be fine.
Not since or not before the upgrade, but
Yeah.
now it's all screws.
Yeah, that was the upgrade. It's just installing a bunch of screws.
Coliseum plus screws. This is going to be brilliant. But no dubstep.
Moving on, Colin, you're putting out an album,
Yes.
and you told me that you described your current era as a band in a few words as finally hitting the ground running. So say more about that.
Well, we have just been sitting around. Well, I have not been sitting around, but the band has been sitting around as an entity, including me in it, for a while, not really doing anything. I think our last like real grind was in like 2022. And that's when we were playing big shows a lot. And, we'd had a consistent lineup for a little bit. And then things, kind of kept going through 2023, and then latter into 2023, they really slowed down. 2024 was the least shows I've played since I was like 15. And then same with 2025 until recently. But there was a lot of things, like we were building the studio and starting other bands. And we really just wanted this album. We wanted to work with somebody who would really appreciate it enough to like take a little bit of a risk on us and give us some assistance, whether that be like a booker or a label or something. But now that we finally found that, we were like, let's frickin' go. And now we have, the reason I say hitting the ground running is since we've been kind of taking things really slow, I started doing a lot more, front of house sound mixing and a lot more studio work, met a lot more great musicians, formed kind of this local network in Bremerton, Washington of really, really talented people. And now I feel like we're just like set to really, really pull off whatever we try to do. One thing that we talked a lot about that a booker that we were working with recommended is when we have that one time to go play, I don't know, like what the equivalent would be in Portland, but on our end, it would be like opening for somebody at Showbox, if you will. There may be like Crystal Ballroom or something. We want to be like ready. You know what I mean? We don't want to seem like green. You know what I mean? So that was one way. And then also we found our favorite mastering engineer, Alan Jones, and we've been working with him. And we finally had worked enough to actually like get the equipment we wanted to use to really pull it off. And I just feel like we're very, very prepared for whatever comes next and whatever opportunities we get to embark on, which we wouldn't have been if we hadn't have waited for as long as we did. Yeah.
Cool.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
Okay.
And I love that you're feeling that way. And it's, especially Russian Blue has been around for what, like 10 years or something like that?
Yeah.
And you've gone through so many different, I don't want to say phases, but I'll say iterations.
I would say that's apt.
Okay.
It
Phases
felt
or
like phases.
iterations. Yeah, of the band. Most of which I have only heard tale of through
It's fine.
wandering minstrels and bards.
I mean, I definitely relate to Seth as well with the taking off the glasses era. I feel like we're fine. And I think it's kind of the same energy that is what I'm trying to say with the hit the ground running is I finally feel like we're ready to seize who we are, and we know who we are more, and we know what we're doing more, and we're like really excited, and everybody's gung-ho, and and we've definitely gone through phases of being into it and then not being into it, being into it and not being into it, and wanting to be this band and wanting to be this band. So yeah, we're really excited.
Cool. Well, I know that part of that is the two of you did a handful of dates together in October.
Mm-hmm.
They were great.
You're awesome. Good.
I had a very
Fantastic
good time.
Are there any like really fun stories that maybe I haven't heard, maybe other people haven't heard from those dates?
Fun.
I have one, but Seth, I want to know if you have one first.
I will have one as soon as you say yours, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call it, I don't think it's a funny story, but I think it's a wonderful story, which is just, I was really pumped that we were going to be playing these days with Buddy Winku. And I just kind of as a Hail Mary was like, oh, you guys can crash at the studio. I can house you all if you want. And I fully expected them to be like, no, we're not super comfortable with that. Screw you, stranger. But they were like, hell yeah.
Strangers.
And I guess we did do a fair amount. We did chat. But then one morning before we played our Tacoma date, we all went out to breakfast at a diner that we really like that I go to with a lot of my clients called the Big Apple Diner. That's like right around the corner.
I've
And
eaten there.
I have never seen that many people eating at once in that place. We pulled up like 3 or 4 tables together, and the band, several people in the band individually who were there have told me since that it was like a really great moment for it. Was very beautiful.
Yeah.
It was just like,
We needed that. That was nice. That was our
it was
only
so
like family meal I think we did on tour.
really.
We were all staggered.
I mean, ours too. I don't know why I'm.
Well, because
Also-
you had been on tour for like a week beforehand already, right, Seth?
yeah. And we brought a buddy, and it was just a lot of people. Hard to get everybody to want to do one thing at any given time. So that's why that was a great moment. I looked
It's
like The
just
Rock,
funny.
and Colin made fun of me.
That was not making fun of you. It was an observation, and I liked it.
And I immediately went home and changed my sweater.
Did you really do that because of that?
Yeah, dude. Why was I wearing a
It was
black
awesome.
turtleneck?
Because
Yeah.
you're awesome. Because you're a legend. And you were a little cold, maybe.
It was a little chilly. No, that was a great time. Those shows were great. Colin is, Zach, he's on top of his game when it's like sound check time. They measured out, we played, I forgot which venue. They measured out the stage. Do you have like layouts of every stage, like measurements of every stage that you've played or want to play?
Every stage we've played so far, either Bryce or myself, one of the guys in Russian Blue, has a layout of
Yeah.
it.
That's like seeing how we loaded in versus Russian Blue. It was very structured and we were very chaotic, and it was just like throwing, and it was like, these are two different types of organization practices.
Well, I
And
think it's by necessity for us. I mean, we'd love to be chaotic. And we were for a great many long. I will say the first couple shows we had all those synths. It was like it took us a long time to sound check and load in. And after one time, we were like, this is not going to work. This is not sustainable at all. So then we had to drill it and figure it out. But you guys were great, though. I don't know what you mean. You guys just were like going with the flow. I didn't feel like you were chaotic.
thank you. Maybe that's just what it feels like on the inside.
I think if it didn't feel chaotic a little bit loading into a venue, I don't know. You're probably not loading in. You're probably just watching other people load in. If it doesn't feel good, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Probably like, oh, my roadies feel so weird right now. I feel great.
It's really funny.
But did you have any funny stories? I don't know if anything was funny other than us going ha 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 about little quips and
Yeah,
little
quips and
jibs
no,
and
it was just a good
jabs.
time of hanging. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily outstanding, like an event that was funny, but it was a great time. I'd do it again. 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10. 100%
Whoa.
on Seth Tomatoes.
You have a
Is-
Seth Tomatoes website?
Is this a joke
Where?
that you have made before, or did you just come up with that on the spot? Is this like a bit you do?
No, I just came up with that.
I was like, that seems fresh.
Yeah.
100% fresh on Seth Tomatoes.
Certified fresh.
Certified.
I will, for us, it was in retrospect, pretty funny that we had this technical issue happen 3 nights in a row where our main synth that we use for a lot of like the core sounds of the songs, a lot of like the big bass sounds, just randomly kept going incredibly out of tune. And it happened 3 nights in a row. And I was mortified because I think probably 30 people over the course of those, some were in the band, some were in Buddy Wigcoop, some were just showgoers, came up to me and were like, no one can tell what you're fiddling with. And I was like, is it really not that bad? Am I crazy? And then I got sent the video of us playing one of the tracks from Portland from a guy who did a bootleg of it. And I can attest it. People noticed. It was crazy. It was one of the, oh my God. It's very funny now because I should have just calibrated the pitch because it's just a button. You just say calibrate and it takes 10 minutes and it calibrates. And then that issue goes away, but it didn't work. So there is now evidence out there somewhere of us going into a big break and it going. It's pretty cool.
That's the wabi sabi, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you don't notice in the moment when you're in a room and you're just dancing and feeling that energy, and then you listen back on a recording and you're energy sober, and you're like, oh. Yeah.
I got a text from a couple people who saw us in Portland that saw the video go up. They're like, yep, I remember that moment. And I was like, oh. They were like, I felt so bad for you. I was like, thanks for telling me that. You could have just never told me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You remember that time you were on stage and something you didn't want to happen happened? I just pity you. I go to sleep thinking about how much I pity you for having had that experience.
Honestly, if I've had a bad day, I just sit there, think about your misfortune. Go,
Makes you
and it
so
puts me right to sleep. But
Yeah.
that to me is the funniest thing that happened. Looking back.
Yeah, that's a definition of funny, I suppose.
Well, I'm just, you know what I mean. It's just like I'm gonna look back on that in a year from now, and it's gonna be even funnier because we'll be like, "Why didn't you calibrate it?"
I definitely have that moment a lot, though. Not with something as awful and objective as that, but when I like have played a show and think that was pretty good, and then I go back and watch it. Just like I'd set my phone up in the corner of the room to see it, and then review like a sports team or something, and then I think this wasn't as good as I thought it was. Has that ever happened to the two of you?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. Yes, the answer is yes, but I don't know if that's necessarily true because when you're watching it, you're lacking the context of the sound, the bass,
That's
the
true.
people, like you said, energy sober. And your phone strips out so much je ne sais quoi that you're just like, oh, this is me. The treble's really high or the bass is too loud. Like, that's not what it sounds like, you know?
Yeah,
That's true.
So
that's a good point.
that is, since I've done that so much to myself, I have come up with that to make me feel better. And you can use that too.
Good.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Seth.
I'm internalizing that.
Thank you, Seth. That's actually part of the reason why we just started getting like I got this camera in the first place. Our film camera was we wanted to start getting like good video of everything so that we could watch it back and be like, yeah, like record multi-track the show and be like, okay, it wasn't that bad.
That's actually pretty good.
Because like half the people in the band are like sound folk or like recording people and so they listen back and they're like, "Well, the vocals are too loud," just like freaking out.
funny.
And I definitely did that a bunch, but I 100% agree. And I think the moment that I realized that is I watched a video back of like one of my favorite bands and it was like, it sounded so good. And I watched it back and I was like, this sounds awful. And I was like, well, the show was not awful. It was fantastic that I just saw. So this is not a reliable spectator.
It's easier to trust your objectivity a little bit more when it's not you that you're watching on stage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely not a sound person, and I'm mostly just looking for like performance energy, but even that doesn't really come across. But I will say, after the show that the three of our bands played together in October, I walked away just thinking that the two of you are such dynamic and exciting and energetic performers on stage. And I was really impressed and inspired, even though I'd seen you both play multiple times before, but something specifically about that night, and maybe it was the context of having also performed that night, that I have not necessarily significantly, but I have relatively significantly changed or added to my own stage performance in a number of ways to try and channel some of that energy.
Awesome. Are they certain moves? Do you practice?
Moonwalk?
I practice a little bit. I don't really practice certain moves. I'm limited because I'm playing guitar all the time. So I don't get to do the like you have the cool hold the
I
mic
thought you had
stand
some-
up.
Do you not have
There's like
some-
one song where I don't have my guitar on. And but there are points in other songs where I'm not playing for like a verse and half a chorus. And I'm just trying to be much more intentional about seizing those moments to grab the microphone off of the stand and walk around a little bit and get a little bit more in the, like, don't feel tethered to the stand when I don't have to be, even though I have to be 70% of the time.
But do you practice doing that when you practice?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, because it's like you got to practice how you're going to do it live. When we practice, I do a smattering of weird, very weird things, and I'm like, this one kind of feels unnatural. I probably won't try that, but
Sure.
yeah. So it's when you go up there, it doesn't feel new because sometimes before I started kind of like practicing, because I was never really a front person for any of the bands that I've been in the past, and I was originally just a guitar player when
Yeah,
Buddy
same.
started. But stepping off of that, I am inherently a ham, but the first time I got off the guitar and I started doing things, you get into it and then I would think to myself in the middle of like a weird position or doing something, I'm like, well, now what do I do? And then you kind of have to break that moment, break from doing the thing and like come back and like, I feel like people can see like, oh, that was either contrived or that he didn't know what he was doing or like things like that. So ever since then, multiple times of that happening, it's practice has been, even if the other members aren't doing what they would do live, I'm doing whatever I can. So it feels more easy. So I don't have to think about it while I do it.
Yeah.
So do you have like a routine for a whole song planned out?
Oh no.
Or do you just have like a handful of moves that you know you can,
I like
can
they're
switch
called moves.
between?
No, I just yeah. No.
We'll do combo C.
Ooh, yeah. No, I just go up there, vibe it out.
That's cool. I think people would say that's very #authentic of you to just vibe it out.
Hashtag authentic.
Thank you,
Be my
Colin.
real self.
Yeah. What about you, Colin?
I will admit I have the only thing that I have to do in practice like that is the other people in the band. There are points where they do not do anything and they just stand there. And so I have had to start being like, hey, when there's this break and you aren't playing anything, why don't you fucking do something? Like, why don't you look like you go to sleep, buddy. This is like 2 years ago, mind you. I think they're much better now, but it was that we would go over. I try to really just like completely just go somewhere else when we're playing. I don't know. Like and I think that's why I watch things back and I'm like, man, I'm just such a goofy little weirdo. What am I doing?
Do you not normally feel like a goofy little weirdo?
Depends. Depends on. Sometimes I feel like a gruff little weirdo. Sometimes I feel like a huge weirdo.
Got it.
You know what I mean? But I don't.
Yeah.
I look back at it and I'm like, what am I saying? What am I doing? And sometimes, yeah, I do think I make an ass of myself. But the risk reward for me is when it does land. I just feel like I am just so open emotionally when we're playing. I just try and be just like the most uncensored, unfiltered, just like let myself feel a bunch of things. Because it's like my favorite thing in the whole world to sing with Russian Blue. And I didn't feel that when I played guitar. Because I also started at the mic for like 7 of the years we were a band, if not 8 years of the band was just me standing there with a guitar. Or originally, when we were like 14, I played a little piano thing, but that was mortifying. But now, being most of the time I'm just walking around and singing, it's just so freeing. And I just love it so much. It makes me so, so happy every time we get to play a show. So I try and just like turn my thought. I agree with you, Seth. Like, I don't want to think. I don't want to look like I'm thinking. I don't want anything to take me out of that, which is why the synth on tour was so freaking annoying. Yeah, I think actually the one thing for me that I've practiced is moments to listen. Because I find that I'll get so caught up in what I'm doing that like I won't listen for Justice's harmony, or I won't wait for that like snare into the next part, and it can make me sloppy because I'm not aware. And a huge part of when we're playing live is the way we have the mix set and the way we have our amp set is I try and hear everybody evenly. I just want to feel like I'm in the song, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I had to practice being like, okay, don't get carried away at this part because you need to pay attention to what Justino's doing. You need to pay attention to what Justice is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go in your own world and just somewhere in the background, But yeah, no moves, no combos, no moves.
No combos, no moves. What about combo moves?
Yes. No. No combo moves.
Well, and you're talking about being on stage and the experience of being on stage and like the emotions that you have. That's one of the themes of the upcoming record, right? That's coming out.
Yeah.
Is how does that connect to, if at all, the song that we're about to listen to, which is called Patience and recently released?
I actually think out of all the songs on the record, Patience is like the song about performing, or in a wider sense is about like sharing parts of yourself that like if I wasn't an artist, it would be kind of weird for me to be sharing these feelings in the way I'm sharing them with a bunch of strangers, And that song is just about like the absolute terror of being embarrassed, of being like perceived as for who you really are, and like how, I mean, in the headspace of writing that song, how like feel like I'm very weak at my lowest moments, or I feel like I'm a coward, or I feel like I'm just a fraud, or And then the song came out. The way that the music actually ended up coming is it's sort of like the numbness, the numb shell wrapped around kind of trying to smother that fear. And for me, the takeaway, quick side thing here, when I write lyrics like that song, I think I wrote all those lyrics in one sitting, like just let the mic roll. And I turned all the lights out in the studio, and I just kind of sat there and listened to that like synth thing, and there wasn't any drums on it. I think maybe I had a click in my ears or something, and I just like sang that through. And I made a couple little adjustments later, but it was sort of like a start to finish train of thought, like asking myself a question, asking myself a follow-up question, trying to answer it, realizing my answer's full of shit. And then by the end of the song, trying to come to the conclusion of like, well, what is the root? What is making me so afraid? Yeah, I rambled a little bit there, but it definitely connects to that feeling, because by the end of the song, by the end of me writing the song, I really felt like, okay, I have a way better understanding of what I'm actually scared of here. And after writing that song, that was actually the first show I ever did where I didn't have a guitar, because I was really, really scared to do it the first time we did it. And I think a lot of those feelings, I think I saw a show in Seattle the day I wrote it too, and I knew we had a show like soon after, and I saw this front man that was amazing. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I am so terrified. Like, oh my God. Yeah. It directly connects to that feeling. And post writing that song, I feel like I can finally enjoy being that and sharing that part of myself on stage.
Did you have to go through that too, Seth, when you said you were kind of transforming to becoming a frontman?
Absolutely. Again, like I said, like when I was first going and being authentic and like being yourself and finding yourself is like being a frontman, and then conveying your songs as you want them to and believing them without being tied, your hands tied, is a difficult process. Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes, 100%.
Cool. Well, that makes three of us. And so with that, here is Patience by Russian Blue.
Vibe out.
Should
guitar solo.
Is this your guitar solo, Colin? You did this?
I played it on the recording. This is Bricey Boys live.
Except he plays it a little differently live, doesn't he?
Kind of. Just because of the fact that it's double tracked, and he does it a little different every night, I think. Just like slightly. But we go for like 90%. That song
Cool
was
song.
blasting.
I have it at like half volume too.
It was
But
cool.
it's
It
a
was
bop.
rattling my head. I mean, that means it's a great master.
I basically wake up with the last chorus of that song in my head every day since it came out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick. That's awesome. I have also been shooting the music video for the last 2 weeks. It's in my head constantly as well.
Yes. Do you hate it yet?
Honestly, so I've gone through a phase with this song. So I wrote it and I was like, this is so boring. This is like the most boring thing I've ever done. And then the first time we played it live, I was like, everybody like flipped out at this one. And I was like, this is such a slow song. Like, what's going on? Why is everybody like,
Yeah, that's how I
and
was.
then thank you, Seth. And then we took a long break from playing, and then I listened to it, and again I was like, ugh, this song is so lame. And then when it came time to like finally mix it for real, I hadn't listened to it in headphones like since the day I recorded it. Which this song was, I think, written, recorded, and the first mix was done in about an hour. I think. Except for the drums. And those were done in like 20 minutes a different day. Believe it or not, the whole song was recorded with just in my ears. There wasn't like any of that, the groove to it. But yes, I do not hate it anymore. I did hate it for a long time. But now I kind of like it.
I feel that. I feel
Yeah.
that, like, in
And
my own music liking 80, I love this song, and I have not liked it since
That'd be
I heard
so
it.
funny.
So
You're
let me
like,
clear that. Make
you're
that
like,
clear.
the first night of tour, I heard you guys play it, kind of stunk. I didn't like it at all. Second night, kind of warmed up. Third night, atrocious. Fourth night, though, boom.
Oh yeah, that
Loved
last
it.
night. So into it.
I get it now. I'm patient.
Yeah, I mean, and also just the idea of writing a song by listening to it and singing through, and that being it, is incomprehensible to me. I can't even begin to imagine doing that as a creative process.
I have tried to do it for other bands in the other bands we're in or with other clients, and it's never worked. But I think that's the thing about this album that's pretty cool, that I like, that I'm pretty proud of, is that is how all of the songs were written. Was one session singing it through, except for this song is Now Yet, but This Is Your Heaven was not written that way. That was actually written like kind of in the room. That was pretty cool, and I like it. The way it is different because of that. But the rest of them, lyrics all the way through. But Patience is the only one that like I recorded to a click track and a drone of G and D playing, and that was it. And then all of the other stuff was just reaction to it. Like Hands, for example, like that was definitely like made a drum beat, was like, ooh, sang it, made another drum beat, 5 minutes later sang more, 5 minutes later, and like chipped away linearly. But yeah, it is kind of weird. Now I can't do it at all anymore. I've been trying. It doesn't work. I think it's a uniquely this album process for me.
It's interesting how processes, even just like our own process, evolves over time in that way.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I am chasing variety in process more than almost anything else with music right now. I am obsessed with like going somewhere else or using just this one instrument or writing all the songs starting with like drone notes or writing all the songs starting with a drum machine or writing all the songs without drums or, like just putting myself in these like putting down a very strict
Parameter.
path to start a song. Yeah. Yeah. Just like determining really, really limiting parameters to start. Because after the inception of the idea, who who fucking cares? Do whatever you want. But for me, I just think that's really fun. In particular, going to new places. I like recording everything here at the studio, but like writing other places, you know?
Mhm.
I just think that's really, really, really helpful. I think I'm really grateful, and I'm really blessed that I have the team around me here that help make the studio and that I get to work here, because the luxury of like just recording, you can worry about it later, but you know, and that's not going to be an issue. You can do it whenever you want. You can bring recording equipment wherever you want. It's been crazy. It definitely changed my life over the last couple of years. Sorry for rambling again.
It's okay. This is actually like the correct forum to ramble.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's kind of what we're here for.
Yeah.
But that is interesting. The variety seeking aspect. Is that something that you've done or felt the need for, Seth?
No, were you talking about the variety of how you start a song, giving it like a different feel and starting from a new perspective, or is that what you were talking about? Like, what did you mean, Colin?
Just basically just like, I don't really want to overthink anything, so putting myself in different places with different tools and seeing what happens, and then committing
Oh, yeah.
to the reactionary part of that process. See
yes.
what happens.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with my new writing process that I've been doing. It's just like fiddling around with different amps or pedals or things like that. I'm like, I'm going to use this. What does this pedal do? What sound does that make? All right, how can I make that pedal, that
Yeah.
sound, a melody? And then you're stuck in with that sound. So you obviously can't do certain things you would do with a different type of pedal. But yeah, absolutely. That's kind of a new thing I've been trying to do as well. It is fun.
Is that a way to just, or not a way to, but are you finding that helps you have new, fresh ideas, like get out of your ruts and crutches that we all have?
For me, I think we talked about this off right when we were in the waiting lobby for Colin.
That didn't happen.
When it's like writing time for me, I like to listen to everything that isn't kind of a sound that I'm going for. We were talking about like, I love listening to country music or metal or like any type of the metal genre or all those kind of things. Because if anything seeps through, it's maybe a weird thing that is from those types of, art mediums, to how they make it sound or where they put their breaks or where their bridges come in or their refrains or all that kind of stuff. But I forgot the question.
Does your new process, has it helped you come up with newer and fresher ideas?
Yes. And it's just like, 100%. I'm sitting on a good stack of ideas that we're going to go and start finishing with. And it just helps you give a different perspective, because if I sit down with the same pedals and I don't force myself to go buy, I don't know, a Moog Sub 37, I will never have the sounds or the ideas that are in there, and I'll be stuck with, not a bad thing, a machine that is what I've used already, and, things like that.
Not a Moog Sub 37, let me tell you that.
Or even guitar pedals. Weird. I use Logic, and I'll
Me too.
fiddle around with, I'll make the pedal board wild. I'll just mess with the EQs and then play a note, and then it'll be so weird, and then just kind of, it's great. Because typically I was in a position where it was like, here's my amp, here's my pedal board that I've had forever, and have I bought any new pedals lately? No. And what possible new stuff can I come up with that sounds different using these same tools? Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. You end up getting out of your familiarity,
Mhm.
which familiarity can be nice, but it can also be limiting.
I feel like it's a line for me. Like, I want to know. I mean, how do I put this? I like the point where I get a new piece of gear and I discover what it does, especially, obviously we really like synthesizers. I really like synthesizers. I like getting a new one and learning how to use it. But I try never to write in that stage, because I want to, I guess now I'm fluent in synth enough that I can pick up most things and be like, I understand the anatomy of what's going on here. But I want to know exactly how to use the tool, but like so that if I'm in a flow and I'm like, oh, I'm cooking, I want to do this, I want to do that, I can reach over here, twiddle a knob, I can reach over there, do an EQ, and I know exactly what's going to happen. But I want to be in a new space where like maybe I haven't used it in a while. Does that make
Are you
sense?
talking about like
I
physical
really like
location?
talking about physical location more well and gear though. But like I am very blessed. We are very blessed as a band to have a lot of gear that we could just be like, oh, I haven't touched this thing in a while. I'll give that for a spin, and we can rotate through. A huge thing for me is writing on different instruments. Because like sometimes I'll be writing on synths, or sometimes I'll be writing on piano, or sometimes I'll be writing on guitar or drums, or just start with a single note and write some vocals, or writing on bass. But just switching that up and then going to different locations. Location's huge for me, especially lately. Maybe because I spend all day, every day in the studio.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I don't really like writing there. And it's also like I have to write music every single day of the week that I'm not out playing a show for clients or bands for myself. But most of the time it's like, oh, this person needs a, got to do that, or this person needs a drum beat, or oh, they don't know what fill to put there. So there's a lot of like arranging and songwriting that happens all the time. And so I just want to I'm always like strategizing in the studio, like, okay, what do they need? How do I figure this out? How do I decode this right now in the moment? But when I'm writing my own stuff, I kind of want to not be thinking about what is right at all and just purely react to something that happened by chance.
And new locations give that fresh vibe. That not having to
Well, absolutely.
I would implore anybody. The only time we've ever done it was got to get a cabin, bring like a mobile, super basic recording setup, and just go nuts. I don't know. We've only did it once a couple of years ago for one of our EPs, but that was amazing time. It's like a great bonding time. It's fun, like getting out, and it really is fresh, certified.
I love that stuff. I mean, I think I was telling you, Seth, recently, we were like right a little bit before tour, we were up doing Russian Blue stuff.
In a yurt
in Orville, Washington, way northeast, almost Canada. And that was crazy. Yeah, that was amazing. But that was just Patrick from Russian Blue, and I have yet to go with a full band and do that. It's usually like me and one other person. And Patrick's very kind because, yes, some of the time he was giving me amazing insight and ideas and pitching lyrics and writing parts, and those parts are fantastic, and they're all ended up in the songs, and I love Patrick, and he's a genius. But most of the time, he's just sitting there patiently and helping me with whatever I need because he's the best.
You guys all have to do a band one. You guys can hang out.
I would love to.
Ghost stories. You don't think about that. Actually,
I don't think about ghost stories at all.
How often do you two hang out with they're your friends, obviously, your band members, outside of
band members
shows?
that are friends?
Not nearly enough.
I see most of them. Oh, Russian Blue, I see half of them like 4 to 7 times a week. Most of the time.
Oh, that's cool. That's a lot.
Well, I see Patrick every day, live with Patrick. And Justino is at the studio constantly because we're in 3 bands together and there's so much to do. I think especially lately with the Russian Blue record coming out and shooting music videos and having all these shows and stuff yeah. And they are very sick of me. They tell me all the time. I am not sick of them at all. I don't know if I will ever get sick of them. Flippin' love Patrick and Justino. They're the best.
Who's your favorite?
Patrick and Justino.
There it is.
Dang. There it is, folks.
But not as people or friends, but just for the sake of, 757 this evening for this podcast. Tomorrow it'll be Justice, and then the next day it'll be someone from a different band. I pick brief, fleeting favorites in my heart.
Very fickle favorite picker.
Yeah, I'm fickle.
Well, it's funny because you opened this podcast by saying how much you love commitment. But what about you, Seth? Do you hang out with the band often outside of doing music?
Yeah. There's some more than others because just time and things, but
Yeah.
we try very hard to make an effort to do just a hangout or like a meeting or disguise a hangout as a meeting. So we feel like we're doing two things at once, but really we'll do nothing towards that. But that's kind of few and far between, especially since we got back from the tour, probably haven't talked to them very much, except for a couple guys who I like are neighbors and live close to me, and we see each other all the time. But yeah, I try to. I want to hang out with my
Yeah,
friends.
it's tough.
I want to play music with my
Goal for next
friends.
week, Seth. Goal for next week.
Hang out with your band. Yeah, it is tough.
Hang out
and
with them.
It's kind of the same here. Like I see Ty all the time because we live together.
You live with
yeah,
Ty? How did
yeah.
I miss that?
I don't know, but we were friends long before we started this band, and the rest of the band, it doesn't happen as much as it would be nice to happen.
Mhm.
But we see each other every week at rehearsal, and then especially we've been shooting music videos lately, so we kind of get to hang out and goof around in that environment more than we do in the rehearsal room, where we feel like we kind of have to maximize the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That music video is sick, by the way.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Glad you like it.
I
Thank
love
you.
it.
So sick.
I like both of
Let's
them,
They're both very different,
Yes.
as they
but
should
both fun to make. So I'm excited about the next one. We talked about this a little bit. I would love to have you both in it. Seth, I'll tell you more after the show. Yeah, but that's
be. It was really
fun.
good, Seth. That was really good.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it's about time for us to wrap this up. I am feeling
Oh.
compelled. Perhaps there is a ghost in this story that is telling me, like, hey, the time for this podcast episode is coming, and it's but in like a spooky way. So I will at this point ask you both if you have any parting words, anything you want to shout out, plug, promote, anything like that.
Persimmon. That's my part of
Persimmon.
Which kind? The fuyus or the other kind?
You said words, but I chose one word. No, go, Colin. You send us off.
I mean, I have a real plug.
Okay.
Go listen to Patience. It's out. I'm assuming it still just came out when this comes out. Zach, yeah?
This will come out in probably 3-ish weeks.
Okay, so we'll be on the tail end of Patience. If you haven't listened to Patience, what are you doing? We have another single coming out in January, and then the record comes out January 24th. Thanks
Cool.
for hanging out,
Awesome.
Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
I had a blast.
Thanks both of you for coming, and
Thank you.
I hope to see you both sooner than later.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Oh, I don't know what's happening. How sharp are we cutting this?